Mike Tannenbaum, the Executive Vice President for Football Operations of the Miami Dolphins, joining me here on The Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Mike?
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
I am doing great. Thanks for calling into the show. I really appreciate it after a busy week, busy months for you. When was the first time you heard about this Tunsil video?
Yeah, I think, like you were alluding to, Rich, we were, I don't know, maybe number 7 or 8 pick in terms of where the the draft was, and first few picks went off like everyone else thought in terms of the quarterbacks, and then Joe Shane, our player personnel director, kind of brought it to our attention, and we had to move pretty quickly just to make sure that we felt good about the player and his background, and we figured once he got to 8 or 9, like he could really start falling to us.
So did you look at it? Did you see the video during the draft, essentially?
We did. And we were sitting there, Chris Kerr, our GM, Adam Gase, our head coach, Steve Ross, we were there. We saw it, and then we had our area scout, Matt Winston, come in, who does a really good job, covers that part of the country for us. And we went through all his background going back to Lake City, Florida, and realized, look, he had made a mistake, but given all the information we had on the player, we were comfortable with him.
Well, there was word also that Jimmy Sexton, the agent, was putting Tunsil on the phone and calling directly into war rooms. Were you one of them?
We did speak to Jimmy Sexton. We didn't speak to Laremy until we actually made the decision to draft him. So we had a pretty good sense that that video wasn't current, which obviously made us feel better. Obviously, he made a mistake. It was something that I'm sure he regrets, but it wasn't something that was a current video, or, we felt like we had enough information about him.
Well, this also isn't like the movie Draft Day, where you're vetting somebody in real time as the draft is going on for the first time. I mean, obviously, you'd already done your due diligence on Laremy Tunsil, but the video itself, though, just did it give anybody in the room pause? Like, hold on a minute, maybe we should be making sure that every single T is crossed before we go and pull the trigger on this?
Yeah, no question. It gave us all, concern, like, well, wait a second, this is obviously a very good player. We met with Laremy at the Combine, went through the normal sort of, protocol you go through with players. And again, we went back all the way to his high school in terms of looking at the information we had on him, and really felt like he was a good person, worked hard. Football was important. He was a good teammate. So the video was a concern, but obviously when we put it in the context of an entire player's career, we felt good about the selection.
At what point did you bring Mr. Ross into this equation?
Yeah, well, that's the good thing about draft day is, like, we're all right there. So literally, like, the 4 of us are right there, Adam Gase, Chris Kerr, our GM, myself, and Steve Ross. And, it was a quick decision, and I can tell you it was unanimous. And, we want to build this program with good people and good players, and really felt that he would be both. Obviously, he did make a mistake, but we looked at everything and really felt good about it.
Mike Tannenbaum joining me here on The Rich Eisen Show. And this predates you and Greer and Gase, but not Stephen Ross. I mean, was there any part where Stephen Ross might have said, hey, look, we've had trouble at this position before, at the offensive line position before, character issues before, and I just don't want to deal with this again? Did that come up at all, Mike?
Not really. Felt like we're trying to build a team the way we should, view it. And look, we want to bring in people that are responsible citizens, and we want to bring in people that are good players, and really feel like he'll be both. He's not the first or last player to make a mistake, and we felt that, his conduct over a long period of time was really acceptable, and feel like he's a really good player. So, it's about the team we're building now in 2016 and moving forward.
Mike Tannenbaum joining me here on The Rich Eisen Show. And in terms of moving forward, there's a report that the Dolphins have looked into who hacked the social media accounts of Tunsil and have actually identified somebody as the culprit. Is that a true story, Mike?
Yeah, actually, that's not something that we're handling. Those are things that'll be handled, by the player. And I'm sure he's going to have, his agent and attorneys. For us, we're much more worried about, moving forward with him and giving him the best chance to be successful, as an offensive lineman for us. And, we'll support him like we would any player that may be in a, legal situation. But those are things that, he's really responsible for, and I'm sure that they're looking into.
Right. But the reason why I brought that up is making sure that he's successful would be rooting out whoever this person is and making sure he's not part of his circle moving from here on out. That's the only reason why I brought that up to you, Mike.
Yeah, no question, Rich. We want to give him, the best infrastructure to be successful. But, as it relates to things that happened before Thursday, there's plenty of resources that are available between us, NFL security, and I'm sure he'll avail himself of all those resources. But, again, that's not something that, we've really been focusing on, as of, now, and, we'll see how that plays out.
All right, and in terms of the way the rest of the draft played out, which pick are you fired up in terms of value, where you got him, what you think he might be able to do for you right away, Mike?
Yeah, for us, Rich, it really started with the trade we made with the Eagles. We started with the 8th pick, and, we felt like we got 2 starters going from 8 to 13, and Kiko Alonso and Byron Maxwell. So when you look at the corners we added between Xavier and Howard from the second round from Baylor and Maxwell, we feel like we got much longer on the outside, which is something we wanted to do. So really feel good about changing that position and trying to give us a much better chance to match up in our division.
And Duarte, I mean, he's no slouch. You got him pretty much darn near around Mr. Irrelevant, a tight end out of UCLA.
Yeah, he came in. He was had a really good visit with us. He's a really interesting player. He's a big receiver. We may move him around a little bit. He has good hands. Really feel like you said, in the 7th round for his productivity. We were excited that he was there, and it'll be interesting to see how Clyde Christensen, our offensive coordinator, and Coach Gase move him around.
And Brandon Doughty, did Dan Marino have a hand in this pick? He coached him in high school at North Broward Prep in Coconut Creek there.
There you go. Well done. Yes. Dan Marino does like Brandon Doughty, so as we all do. So, we like to take as many quarterbacks as possible. We added Zach Dicer in the offseason and re-signed Matt Moore. We had Logan Thomas with us a year ago. So, those 5 quarterbacks, we like the depth of that position, and, we'll see how it sorts itself out.
Mike Tannenbaum, Executive VP of Football Operations of the Miami Dolphins, joining me here. And in terms of the rookie class, your new head coach, Adam Gase, is not putting them on the field the first chance you can get at this rookie weekend that's coming up. He says, from what I hear, Mike, that he just doesn't want the kids out there. He wants them to learn the playbook and learn what it's like to be a pro. It sounds like you're having your own little mini rookie symposium coming up this weekend. Is that true?
Yeah, Rich, it was Adam's idea, and really made a lot of sense. And our focus will be, giving these guys, the best chance to be successful on the field and, in the classroom, and starting to learn life skills. One of the things we forget a lot is this is the first job for a lot of these players. They were great high school players, highly recruited going to college, and now for the first time they're going to be a little bit on their own. And we want to give them the best chance to acclimate themselves, and they'll get plenty of chances to be on the field, in the coming weeks. So it was a good idea, and we're looking forward to seeing how it goes, this weekend.
What are some of the classes you're giving them? What are some of the seminars, as a for instance, that you're going to be giving these rookies?
Well, a lot of it starts with obviously the classroom, learning all 3 phases: offense, defense, special teams, and then from a player development standpoint, it's all the things that from nutrition and financial planning, all the things that rookies will get over the course of the season. We just kind of want to get a jump on that, again, just to give them longer periods of time to kind of get acclimated to the South Florida area.
And some news out of the South Florida area that at a voluntary workouts, and Ndamukong Suh didn't show up, rankling somebody of the team there. Mike, how would you characterize Suh not showing up to voluntary stuff?
Yeah, Rich, the players bargained for a lot of time off in the new CBA, and I'm very respectful of that. So I think we just got to keep it in context of he's a really good player that comes in shape. We're in the voluntary part of the off season. So if he wasn't here for things that were required, that would be a different story. I'm sure when he comes back, he'll be in really good shape.
Do you miss having everything you do picked apart by the New York media, Mike? Do you miss that?
Let's just say I'm really happy where I am. We got great people here, good front office, and, enjoyed my time there, but really excited about what we're building here.
Okay, Mike. That laugh meant, I took that as a no. You do not miss being picked apart by the New York media. You do not. That's still a no. Great. Hey, Mike, thanks for joining. I appreciate it, okay? You take care of yourself.
Appreciate you having me.
You always. It's Mike Tannenbaum.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.